Hello guys, watching Go Doctor Who, and today we're going to be talking about Twice Upon a Time. Next week we're going to be talking about Peter Capaldi's era. Well, in a couple of days' time we'll be talking about Peter Capaldi's era. Bear with me, my voice is hurting, I'm ill and cold. I'm filming this in September, so it generally is the cold time. You would have seen this in a later date because my videos are a bit advanced. Last week we talked about Series 10, and I gave my ranking and opinions on each episode, and I've done that throughout. If this is your first video, then check out from Series 4 all the way up to Series 10, because as this is the best as editing skills you're going to get with my videos. But after Series 4, they were naff and the editing was very bad, so watch them at your own risk, really. But yeah, let's get on to it. Let's talk about Twice Upon a Time, and yeah, Peter Capaldi's final story. As you all know, Peter Capaldi is my favourite Doctor, so yeah, let's just get into it. So I've got my notes on the floor to keep me on track. So first up we have the 12th Doctor, and he's refusing to regenerate, leading on from the Doctor Falls. Now technically I count this as a three-parter. I count the finale and Twice Upon a Time as one. I count that as a one story, and it is consistent. I suppose you can say that with a few other stories, but yeah, I think this is a three-parter in my opinion. I think it brilliantly ends off the three-part in a different way, a less epic way, but more like the 12th Doctor's era. It had everything in, and yeah, it worked. I think it worked quite well, apart from obviously the first Doctor's his first Doctor's not acting like the first Doctor, and that isn't to do with David Bradley. It's to do with Moffat writing the scripts a bit naff, really. Well, not. Basically, Chris Chibnall didn't want to do a Christmas episode, so Stephen Moffat didn't want to lose the slot, so Stephen Moffat wrote an extra Christmas episode, so Chris Chibnall could have a fresh start and then continue with the Christmas specials. Obviously, Chris Chibnall didn't want to continue after Series 11 either, so there was no point in this Christmas special, but it's an extra episode with Peter Capaldi, and yeah, I in some ways I would love for Peter Capaldi to regenerate in the epic finale of Series 10, and change it up a bit. Every Christmas now, the Doctor regenerates, and like it wasn't a thing before, so yeah. But yeah, I do really enjoy this story, and yeah, I gave it a high ranking as well, which you'll have to stick around to the end. But yeah, let's get into it a bit more. 12th Doctor regenerating, refusing, and so is the first Doctor, and we get this wonderful clip of love, hate, pride. Do you have no emotions, sir? And then the Cybermen are like, obviously no, we don't have emotions, and that transformation between William Hartnell and David Bradley is brilliant, and the colour change and everything was so good. I've watched the 10th Planet, and it does link in quite well. I mean, the Doctor was missing in one of the episodes, so it makes sense to have something there, even though in real life it was because of William Hartnell's illness and departure in the show, the forced regeneration, and yeah. Anyway, I think it works quite well, and it pays respect to the 10th Planet quite well, where it fits in and where it ends and slides back into place for the 10th Planet. So it doesn't make any continuity errors or anything, so it does well in that aspect. I'm just going to mention it really quickly because it's not relevant that much. The Brigadier Grandad or Great Grandad or whatever is actually Mark Gatiss' character. So we learn that he's a brigadier of some kind. The World War I soldier, we're just going to call him in this episode. But yeah, he's related, which was just a nice little nod. I mean, last time in Series 8, we got a nod with it, Brigadier and Cyberman, so now we're getting the nod with him. So it's just a little more pay respects. And that's what I love about the Peter Capaldi's era. It just constantly full of references, and I love references. Obviously, it's not the best when you're a new person joining the show, but once you've watched it so much, yeah, you just get so much good, lovely references throughout Peter Capaldi's era, and this is what the finale does as well. Of his final episode, we get a little bit of references, which is wonderful. The first Doctor now. First Doctor, as David Bradley's performance is well done, and he captures the and grabbing the clothes quite well, and acting very much like the first Doctor. And we get Zoe, I think it is Zoe, and we get James, I'm not sure on the First Doctor's companions. Probably have a go at me in the comments about that, but yeah. The companions of the First Doctor are not in it that much, and obviously there's a little reference to Polly. Obviously, it's Polly. I think it's Polly in the final episode. Yeah, Polly hasn't been around recently, has she, or something like that. And then the 12th Doctor. And then another one is all women are made of glass, and then you've got the just constantly crappy references the First Doctor did not make. I mean, he did make a reference once, I've heard, of one of his stories, but yeah, he didn't do that. So I don't know why Moffat was thinking of that. I guess it's because of the 60s time period, women were treated like that, but yeah, the First Doctor didn't really do that, and he's an alien, it doesn't make sense for him to do that. Anyway, let's get on. So the First Doctor and the 12th Doctor meet the Captain, and obviously when they're meeting, the 12th Doctor knows who the First Doctor is, the First Doctor has no idea who the 12th Doctor is. The Captain gets a little flashback of how he got there from the World War, and we have two soldiers placing their guns together, ready to shoot. Now, actually, this is not just Mark Gatiss, a former writer and actor who's appeared in the show. Another, I've forgotten his name, but the soldier with the gun was actually writing loads of Doctor Who episodes throughout up to, I think, the David Tennant era, all the way up to 12th Doctor era. Toby Whithouse, I think it might be him, don't quote me on that, but it was another writer from Moffat's run with two soldiers playing against each other. It was quite interesting and fun. The World War was quite well set and brilliantly, the atmosphere, the difference, and so good. And then we got Murray Gold, before I forget. His music was constantly playing out with little references from Doomsday or Gallifrey or David Tennant era, Matt Smith era, the Day of the Doctor, I think, might have been in there. And the 12th Doctor, definitely, and the Doctor Falls, that ending Regeneration music was glorious. Not to quote, the 13th Doctor's trailer reveal, glorious. No, right, carry on. What else? What else? Yeah, there was no villain in this, and that was so different and interesting. Yet when Series 11 had no villain throughout the constant of Series 11, it was a bit like, we just had that with 12 Doctor's Regeneration. There's no villain, and that made something different and something interesting. There's finally no villain. We're like, oh, that's a twist. It's not a twist now, because we've had every episode in Series 11 with that. So going forward, I think they should leave it off a little bit before doing a no villain episode again. Maybe Series 13 they could do one-off, but definitely not a continuous thing with that. I think it works off quite well with one-offs of a twist where it's not actually a villain. We have these glass people, and they are basically upgrading the living to live on. A bit of an opposite to Series 6 with the robot androids that turn into the characters they're going to kill. So let's kill Hitler, for example. They turn into Hitler to try and kill Hitler, sort of thing like that. You know, it's like a little thing to that. Where they upgrade the living, but something went wrong with the soldier, creating time distortion, leaving the First Doctor and the 12th Doctor to have an adventure to try and get the World War I soldier back to his time period. And of course he has to die, which everyone lives in the Moffat era of such. Quite a lot of people don't die, so maybe there was a bit obvious, I didn't think it was obvious at the time, that the World War I soldier would survive. Nice to talk about his family as well. We had like a little bit of relatability of him talking about his family in the First Doctor's TARDIS. Anyway, the 12th Doctor, the First Doctor and the Captain go to this ship. It looks a bit like Sims, you know, the Sims Diamond in the DS games, or the computer games. There's a game called Sims in the UK, and it might be America as well. Their spaceship looks like a Sims, which is weird. The diamond shape. What else? Oh yes, the First Doctor seeing all his future incarnations doing all sorts and all that thing was quite interesting. Little cameos and references from all the Doctors, which was lovely. But obviously the first Doctor's shocked of the Doctor of War, and the 12th Doctor's like, oh, they missed all the jokes, you know. And then we have Bill's reveal. Obviously it's one of the glass people, it's Bill. We don't get a reference to how the Puddle Girl and Bill leave each other, because I'm assuming this is the end of Bill's life. And yeah, she can't remember either. So she must have lived a long time, a bit like Ashilda, or it was just a whole fake Bill, you know. Yeah, then we've got the first Doctor questioning the 12th Doctor quite a lot, and then obviously in the TARDIS, the 12th Doctor's TARDIS, the first Doctor's reveal of atmospheric, and reveals that he is the future incarnation of the Doctor. Is quite shocking and fun to see little Doctors, multi-Doctor, arguing and bickering and comparing between TARDISes and sonic probe or sonic glasses or whatever they like to debate what it is and stuff like that. Was quite fun. And 12 Doctors, that glasses got a crack in the end. No, they didn't. They got lobbed on the floor by the first Doctor. Then the first Doctor has to wear the glasses later on. Yeah, again, the ongoing gag, don't look at my browser history, was quite fun. What else? Yeah, the glass creatures just wanted to observe and try and get people back to their, just before they die, uploaded to the system so they live forever. That's basically their goal. That's all there is, and it's a little reference from New Earth, or whatever you want to call it, from the very 10th Doctor era, based from Series 3 and Series 2, Martha and Rose, New Earth. It's linked in with that somehow. We also get a reference and a cameo from Rusty, the Dalek, the only good kind of slash not good Dalek, you know. It just kills Daleks, really, and the 12th Doctor makes a good Dalek, so it wants to kill Dalek, really. Yeah, that was a reference, nice to see, and a little shock and reveal, because no one expected that from the 12th Doctor's very first outgoing adventure, but the second story, Into the Dalek, was quite interesting to see, bring all of that way back, linking into play. Of course Rusty was going to return in the Moffat era. Stephen Moffat was always going to do that. Yeah. Then we have the 12th Doctor still refusing to regenerate, and the first Doctor refusing to regenerate, and then they learn that. The first Doctor's scared. This is his first time changing, and then the 12th Doctor's got to make the first Doctor regenerate. He's got to persuade him, and the first Doctor does the same. Then we get a nice scene between the first Doctor and Bill, where Bill is learning about the Doctor and learns why he travels away, and I think it's a bit off out of character when Bill goes, questions are kind of my thing. Yeah, we get that as your character, but you don't need to say it, you know. And then yeah, we learn about the Doctor running away from Gallifrey a bit more. If you're a new Who fan, that might be new information for you. If not, you would have known from, I don't know, 12th Doctor, the 9th Doctor, or the 10th Doctor, you know. This is just somewhat a new episode for you to watch. You'd learn that the Doctor ran away from his people. Yeah, again, new information, also an end of an era. We see Daleks out there casing, a bit like hogger face sort of creatures that jump on you. The first Doctor TARDIS is amazing and wonderful. And then the Shandy reference, I think it's Shandy. Brandy. Yeah, the Brandy reference, which was also from Husbands of River Song. So that was an ongoing thing throughout the whole Doctors, and we didn't know. Or we did, and I ever watched all the classics, so they might have made a reference there. What else? Yeah, the Doctors, 12 Doctors TARDIS talk, but they're on the first Doctor travelling around, which is like nice to see. Then there's a reference from the 9th Doctor era with the Banana Factory and Captain Jack's Sonic Blaster. That's a nice reference. They're on the same place as that. The Daleks destroyed it now. What else? Yeah. Then we basically end up trying to get the Captain back into his place. We get him back on time. Then they realise the villain's not a threat. 12th Doctor's surprised when he made the big speech. I will stop you. I'll stop all of you. And then it reveals they weren't even doing anything wrong. Then we have the World War setting, which is so lovely and so amazing to see, and so touching, you know. when they're playing football on the ground. The real question is, where did they get a football from in the World War? That's what I want to know. Comment down below, the real question, where did they get the football from? It must have been some scrapnel or some sort of object, not an actual football, but you know. Yeah, anyway, lovely singing of Silent Night and stuff like that, you know. Christmas carol-y sort of setting, and the 12th Doctor changes the time zone a bit, saves the soldier so he doesn't have to die, which is nice. And then the soldier, his mind's wiped and he forgets and he carries on living, and he kind of notices the 12th Doctor and have a nice little moment there. And we also learn that he's obviously the Brigadier, related to the Brigadier, and when he thinks he's going to die, when he doesn't, Toby Whithouse survives and gets out. And then we have the First Doctor and the 12th Doctor saying goodbye, holding hands in this World War setting, which looks beautiful and amazing. And yeah, then the 12th Doctor and the First Doctor are like, will you change? And then the First Doctor's like, yeah, and goes off. Like, will you? You'll find out the long way around. Reference to Day of the Doctor. First Doctor goes off, starts to change, holds on, gets back to the 10th planet, and then changes again. We see that little 12th Doctor, the First Doctor and the Second Doctor change, which was lovely, and I'm glad they didn't change it. It would be lovely to see them in colour, I wouldn't mind that, but yeah. What else? The 12th Doctor then, refusing still. He's drinking up in the dying battlefield, and he goes off to his TARDIS, and then he sees Bill. Bill takes him along and has a nice little chat with him, and then memories, they talk about their time, and then the 12th Doctor still doesn't know whether Bill's real or not, they all go and gag. And then we see Nardole. Nardole and Bill, and they have that nice lovely setting, but just before Nardole we see Clara. Hello old man, don't forget me, because that was quite embarrassing. And yeah, Clara was lovely to have back, Jenna Coleman, even though it was green screen. Yeah, it worked quite well, and you know, we got to see Jenna Coleman again, and it was so fitting, and it so worked for seeing an old first face the 12th Doctor saw and stuff like that, you know. It works well, and yeah, Clara's amazing. Just a little cameo, little thing to show she's still relevant. The 12th Doctor remembers her now, so that plot thread's ticked off and he can remember her now. But also, yeah, it shows she's not relevant now because we're focused on the main companions, but there's a nice little reference that shows that she's still there, even though she's most relevant than anyone else because of what she's done. But we'll get into that in another episode to talk about Clara and stuff. What else? Yeah, Bill and 12 and Nardole have a group hug, they say goodbyes, and 12th Doctor has to do it alone. They go off, they say their goodbyes, and 12's in the TARDIS. Laugh hard, run fast, be kind, and there's a long speech before that of he accepts he's got to change now, and he's like, okay, I'll give it another go, but I'll give you some rules first, Doctor. Never eat pears, laugh hard, run fast, be kind. And then talks about his name for some reason. Never tell anyone your name, only children will understand. And then, yeah, Doctor, I let you go. And then regenerates, and the TARDIS gets blown up, and little sparks and stuff. And, yeah, that was quite an upsetting thing to see 12 go, because he's my favourite Doctor. Yeah, I absolutely miss him, and I wish he could return for a multi-Doctor story, even though he says he won't. Yeah, so that was it. 12th Doctor saying goodbye and accepting to regenerate, and he does that. And we also have the person who filmed Heaven Sent and Hellbent. I've forgotten her name. She filmed Dr. Falls and the other one before that, and Twice Upon a Time. So yeah, World Enough and Time, I think it is. Yeah, World Enough and Time, Dr. Falls, and Twice Upon a Time. She directed and filmed them. It was lovely. She made the scenes look beautiful and all that. And then we have the 13th Doctor. Oh, brilliant! And changes. We don't have much to say about the 12th Doctor. The 13th Doctor actually falls out the TARDIS, presses the button, and flies off. Yeah, 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed the story. Love the threat, love the action, and that was my opinion on the story. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and as always, get the little bell notification and spread the video about. Show what Go Doctor is all about, because you've been watching Go Doctor, and yeah, get more people subscribed. Let's talk about Doctor Who. And yeah, I'll see you guys very soon. Comment, rate, subscribe. Bye.